What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Trick 10s. This is the Polarkraft 1436, episode 2. Now, in part 1, we did all of the framework. Framework is completely finished up. We got the floor in here. We got some internal sheeting for our floor compartments and stuff in the boat. The thing looks really good. I've got a little bit of more metal work I got to finish up. I did get all the hatches built. My dog Austin helped me out. Got this stuff wrapped up in episode 1, and then he built all the hatches for me at the shop while I was doing some other stuff. But regardless, guys, it's a cool little project. We're going to wrap this thing up quick. I'm going to put all these hatches in here and show you guys how everything's going to sit. Now, in the first episode, I did say we're going to powder coat the hatches. Forgot that the customer did not want to get the hatches powder coated. I mean, it's a little bit of money. We got, I think, 8 hatches going in here, and it's $50 a hatch. So, he's looking at a good little chunk of change that he could save, and he's not really worried about it. I don't think it's that huge of a deal for the fishing he's going to be doing with it. So, I'm going to get all this stuff up in the boat, though. I'm going to turn this camera around and show you guys what we got, where we're at. Brought a bunch of stuff home. You all know how this works. Let's get right into it.
Today's video is sponsored by Paul Dean. They were nice enough to send us a 3-piece knife set, and let me tell you, this thing is the bomb. It's got a 3.5-inch paring knife. It also has a 7-inch Nakiri knife, but this one right here is my favorite. This is the 8-inch chef's knife. Now this thing is super sharp. I love the blade material. I love the look of it, and I love the handle. It's made out of pocket wood, and it has a really nice feel in your hand. It feels like a tool. It does not feel like a toy. Now this would be more than enough for you to use around the house, and it will probably even hold up perfectly fine in a commercial kitchen or if you are a professional chef. So if you guys are looking at getting a knife set, this is one that I would definitely check out. I'm going to leave the links in the video description. If you decide you want to purchase something, use my code TRICK10s and it will save you an additional 20%. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoy the video.
All right, guys, so here we are, Polarkraft 1436. Now, in the last episode, we pretty much got everything done from the front of the boat back to this bench right here. Now, I still got to build some pieces in here to catch this hatch, and realized on Friday that I made a mistake because I have 2 hatches here. I'm keeping the same width port to starboard. I think it will look better that way. And there's only like an inch and a quarter difference between these 2 hatches. This one on the back, I was basically just going to build this flat from either side of these vertical gussets right here, and then have the center of this hatch just be open where you can grab it and open it. Well, I wasn't going to put a hole into it for a handle because there's nowhere for the thumb on the bottom of it and the cam to catch on anything. So I was just going to have it where you can reach in here and grab it and open it. Well, I made a mistake. I did put the hole in that one, didn't put the hole in this one. So not a big deal. This one, obviously, I'm going to have to drill a hole in because I want to have a handle in that one. And this one that already has the hole in it, well, since it's not going to have anything to catch on, we'll just put like a finger pull handle in there. I got a bunch of those too, so it'll work out perfectly fine. And then moving up from there, we got our floor in here. This whole setup in here, I mean, this is pretty nice. This is dope for a 1436. You got a storage compartment, nice floor, drop down. It doesn't have areas for catwalks to lay rods and stuff, port and starboard. Now I got hatches for both these compartments. We got our electrical compartment, and this is our live wells existing. So I got to cut a little bit out of this because, as you can see, well, I cut that out a little bit bigger than this. I can steal at least a 1/4 inch on this. I want to make both these hatches the same width, from bow to stern. I think it would look better having them side by side, that they're the same width. I already made them, and this one, the same width as that one. So cut a little bit out of that, trim that, get that dropped in there. Front deck, we got one big hatch that goes across here and a port and starboard hatch in there. And I brought these sheets home. These are just drops I had off of some lids that I cut out or something. But I'm going to use these pieces basically to finish off our side pieces. We got to have a side piece. It's basically going to taper back. It's going to go from like 7 inches in the back right here up to about 1.5 inches in the front. I don't know, but that's what we're going to use these for. I'm going to cut these with that circular saw right there with the aluminum blade in it, and we're going to rock and roll, man. Now we got all the hatches made, like I told you. Look, they're right down here. Customer wants to save $400 by not getting them powder coated. Honestly, I think he's probably getting them powder coated now, but that's not my decision. So regardless, guys, Austin hooked me up. My dog made all these hatches for me, so comes in handy. We're going to be putting these in the boat in just a second. I'm going to try to get everything staged up in here and try to get this back hatch finished up. I want to get all this metal work done in this episode. I don't know how far this episode is going to go, but I'm at least going to get all the metal work put in here, and I'm probably just going to end up painting this thing before this video is out. But I'm going to put you guys in the hyperlapse, and I'm going to get some of this stuff going, and then we'll circle back. Let's get back to work. All right, guys, so I went ahead and cut out a little bit more for this hatch to drop in, and it was stupid simple. I mean, I literally just had to cut about 1/4 or 3/8 on either side this direction, and it was already good that way. And this one will open up to the side, and that one will open up the opposite direction like a French door. That's going to have all these switches and fuses and stuff inside of there. Removable pan to access the pumps and hoses inside of the live well. Now I'm going to teach you guys something. This is stupid simple. This is just a piece I had right here. It's left off. You can see this was in the CNC plasma table. We were cutting lids out of this. And this is just a drop piece I had off the side. Now I keep all these drop pieces. I'm not gonna lie to you. I am a metal hoarder. I use these for everything. And if I wasn't using this for this application right here, then I'd probably chop this up into little pieces and use it for spacers for some of the tracker kits that I sell, because this 1/8 inch aluminum is something that I ship out every single day like clockwork. But regardless, let's get back to what we're doing. So I need a piece to finish this off. So look, we got our hatches, and then we need a piece here to finish this off on the side. It's stupid simple, but in order to do that, well, we need to figure this out. And look, I went ahead and I just set this up here, and I marked these and rip cut them, so they're pretty close to matching up. Now obviously this piece will only be like 2 inches right here, but if you run a straight piece in here, now some boats have like straight gunnels on them, so you can just measure from point A to B here, and same thing back here, and then you can just cut that straight. But with this hole in particular, which I see with a lot of holes, especially these riveted ones, well, you run into this issue right here. Now in the center, I mean, you got a good 1/2 inch gap in there. I got huge hands, and I can fit my whole pinky in there down to my second knuckle. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to taper this piece and cut like a radius cut in the side of it, because we want this to snug up tight. Now I could probably send it like that and nobody would probably notice, but I'm gonna show you guys how to make a nice snug tight fit up here, and it's pretty simple. What we're gonna do, we are going to take this wheel right here. This is just a little cutoff wheel. This is like an extra one. I think I got this as like a sponsorship, or a salesman dropped this off. I don't really use these, but we're going to use this, and we're going to come in here with a marker and put our marker right here where my finger is, and run this all the way down the side just like that, and that's going to give us a mark on the side. It's basically going to be a perfect fit. So look, here we got a marker. Let's just go ahead and do it now. I'm gonna use my right hand. All right, so we'll set it up here. Keep it in the bottom of it, right? Stupid simple. Now I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna cut that. I'm probably gonna have to cut it in like a couple cuts, because it does roll up pretty dramatically up here. But I'm gonna use the saw, the skill saw right here. I've got a Diablo blade in here, and this thing kicks ass when you're cutting the aluminum. I mean, I'm also using this grinder, and these have the cling spore wheels on them that I use that are made for aluminum. They work great too. The issue with this is it kicks up a lot of dust, because it does eat up the wheel, and the wheel will put a lot of dust in the air. When you use a wheel like this on a saw, well, it's got lots of blades on it, and it will cut the material. It gets a little bit hotter. Some of the chips are going to fly off, but you don't have to worry about dust in the air, because it's cutting bigger chunks out. And well, it's messy, but regardless, it's going to get the job done. I'm going to figure out a way to clamp this up here on the side, and we're going to cut this out. Pretty simple, guys. We'll circle back in just a second. All right, guys, so we got this front deck, both port and starboard sheeting piece finished. Now that little trick I showed you with the cutting wheel, you guys can use a washer, use whatever you want, but I'm telling you, the thing is money. It works flawlessly every time, and it gives you a perfect cut. So definitely keep that in your bag somewhere for when you run into that scenario. But now that I got both these pieces finished up, I only got a couple more little pieces of sheeting that's gonna go around this seat base right here. And I have a recessed foot pedal tray I'm gonna drop in here. I'm gonna go ahead and get that and drop that in there. I'm probably gonna have to put like a little piece of, I don't know, like 1/2 inch trim around that. And then I'll have one piece across here, and then 2 short pieces going back like that. And that's gonna wrap up this front deck. But before I do all that, I'll pull these hatches out. I'm gonna go ahead and try to finish up the internal sheeting in here, because this front deck is pretty much done with the exception of that. So I'm gonna blank this off right here so that this compartment right here will be separated from this front. I'm probably gonna throw a little piece up here. It's got a gap. I never close that in, have something come down into the floor just to block that off. And then we're gonna go ahead and put the rest of this stuff in here permanently and start working our way back, because I wanna get all this metal work done ASAP. Let's get back to work. All right, guys, so the front deck is looking good. Look, we're watching some SB Fishing TV live Tuesday nighter over here, so y'all know what time of day it is and what day it is, Tuesday night. I don't know when this video is going to drop. Probably within a week, sometime next week. I literally have 4 videos that are all about 75% done, and they're all competing to figure out when they're going to drop. But regardless, check it out. It's turned out sweet now. I changed this up a little bit. I mean, this is a big storage compartment, cut and dry. That's where his batteries and stuff are going to be at. And then we have another storage compartment here and here. Now, I was talking about bringing this one over here and putting this wall here, because I was thinking about putting a shallow pan on this hatch that's going to drop in here. And that's cool. But then the space underneath it is just dead space to begin with. And not only that, but it would make it very difficult because the trolling motor is mounted right here. And the wire is going to come through the hole that's right up underneath there. And they need to run down this side and into this compartment right here. So for the sake of that and just not having dead space, we're just going to put this hatch in here with this divider, and then we'll turf inside of here, and he'll have a nice deep storage box on both sides. Now that one is obviously bigger. He's got more room to shove stuff up underneath here, but I like this layout. I think it's a good idea. That's how we're doing it. And the good thing about that is that he can open this hatch and he can get up in here, and this wire is going to be tucked up in the side over here. And that way, if he decides he wants to change trolling motors or grass or whatever, he'll have the ability to get in there and pull that cable back and forth from the battery compartment up to the trolling motor. I think it's a good idea. So that's what we're doing. Now that I'm at this stage of the game, I gotta finish up this front deck. I'm gonna grind these welds that are on here. I'm gonna grind them just a little bit, not completely smooth, because I don't want them to be weak, but I do want to grind them a little bit so that I can go ahead and install these pieces. Now I got this piece on either side, port and starboard, and then I'm gonna go ahead and put that hatch in permanently and this hatch, and then this one I'm gonna leave out until after I run these wires and stuff in here. But I think that's the way I'm gonna do it. And I'm not gonna put the recessed foot pedal tray in until last, after everything is done in turf. So I am gonna have to come back with a couple little pieces of angle to sheet all this out, but it's not gonna be a big deal. All right, I'm gonna put you guys on the hyperlapse. I'm gonna grind this up and get as much installed in here as I can, and then we're gonna work our way on back to the back of the boat, because I'm trying to get this thing done. Get back to work. right, guys, we made a lot of progress. We got all this metalwork up here in this front deck pretty much finished up. Now, I still have to come back and install these hatches permanently, but that's not a big deal. I'll probably do that absolutely last, because being able to remove them and run these wires helps out a lot, because you can see that inside of here, well, it's pretty tight quarters, but if you remove this whole hatch, it opens up a lot bigger, and that will come in handy, especially when we're trying to pull wires and stuff. So the absolute last thing I do will be install these hatches, and I still got to paint this boat. So if I can take these hatches out, it's a little bit less weight that's in here. Now, this one over here, this is the big one that comes all the way across, and his recessed foot pedal tray is going to go right here. Now you can see I went ahead and built this up around the seat post base because I want everything to be perfectly flush like it is. This is an 1/8 inch sheet, 1/8 inch hatch track, 1/8 inch seat base, so everything is nice and flush. Turf's going to run over this, and then we'll cut out this little hole around this black rubber piece, and you'll see that, but the rest of it will be up underneath of the hydro turf we're going to put in here. And this foot pedal tray, normally in a lot of the builds, we have that up into a deck like this. It's pre-existing, and you don't have hatches on port and starboard of it, so I like to put that on top of the turf. That way you can remove the whole thing, and that gives you access to get up in there and help pull wires and stuff. But with a build like this, that's why I didn't finish this out, is because I was like, well, we might be able to put this in here permanently, and it really wouldn't make much of a difference, because from this hole we got up inside of here to here is like a foot, and I'm obviously going to run a hole up here so we can pull wires through the foot pedal tray and a hole through the foot pedal tray. So it might be kind of redundant to have this foot pedal tray sitting on top of the turf, and then you see the whole black flange around it because it's powder coated black. So what I'm thinking is I might go ahead and drop this in flush and keep it the same height with the rest of this stuff, and that's why I didn't build this up. I was going to cut an 1.5 inch strip and go across here, and that would have been fine, but I think that this is going to be better. The only downside to that is that over here I've already added this, so I'm going to have to take this piece out, and I'm going to have to rip cut like 3/4 inch, because that's the flange of our recessed foot pedal tray, and then I'll come back and put like some little small pieces in here. They're going to be like 3/4. Everything will be flushed out. Then once I install the turf over top of it, I can come back and cut on the inside of the foot pedal tray with my razor blade, pull it back, and then I'll be able to see where the front of it, because the front raises up at an angle, like a slope, and then I can cut that with a straight edge. But I think it will look a whole lot better that way, and there's really no reason not to do it that way at this point. So that's what I'm leaning towards. But I got the rest of this stuff all done in here. It looks really good. Super dope, man. This hatch in here, it's got sidewalls. I went ahead and put those in there. Sidewalls on both sides. And that's basically just tackle storage. Lots of room inside of there. And then I still have 2 pieces of this top decking to finish up. I'm going to put one over here on port and starboard, basically just to blank this thing off. Now, on that side over there, I'm going to run a hole saw through the existing bench here and here and here and here. I'm probably going to have to dig the foam out on that side over there, but that's already problematic because that thing is sloping down, and I got to address that very shortly. But I'm trying to work my way from the bow all the way back to the stern, and basically we are right here right now. So we've got these 2 pieces that we're about to figure out. I did go ahead and install these vertical walls inside of here on all 3 sides. Thing looks killer, but I'm going to get these figured out. And I got those right over there, and those are basically like 10 inches wide by 60 inches long. I just cut 2 pieces out of a 5-foot wide sheet. Obviously, this is not 5 foot. This is like 47 inches, so I'm going to cut those down, and I'll probably use the remainder drops off of that for something else. But I got to figure those out. And I did add this piece in here because without this piece, well, our sheet would have just came all the way up here. Obviously, we're going to have to notch it around this hatch, and then it would have not had any support right here where the hatch and stuff's at, because we didn't use a tubing for this. This 1.5 inch angle ran all the way up, and it's underneath the flange of this hatch, so there was nothing here. I just welded that in, helped catch it. I also welded these pieces in over here on the side. I went ahead and shot a rivet in there. I put that in the handbrake. This is 1/8 inch thick, and I just put a little bend in it so I can get it up here. Welded around 3 sides here, rivet, and welded it there. I did do the same thing on the opposite side, and the reasoning for that is because that's the only attachment point from the back bench to the center bench, and it needed it to help with the support, because I guarantee you he's going to be walking on this thing like a catwalk. And once we get the sheet on top of this, it's really going to make it strong. But I just felt like I wanted to go ahead and put at least something in the middle to help out with the support for this catwalk. But that looks really good. Now, this piece on the sides, like I said, I'm going to bring it all the way back to where it starts here, and I'm going to run it all the way up to where it dead ends there. I have to notch it around there. I got to get both these figured out. It does have a little bit of a roll on the side. I'm probably going to use my little grinding wheel trick and run my Sharpie down it and cut it perfect. But this one on this side, I'm going to install permanently. I'm going to shove some more foam down inside here and just pack this thing full. Go ahead and put this in permanently. The one over there, I'm not going to put that in permanently. I'll probably put like 2 rivets in it. That way, right before we get ready to turf this thing, I'm going to take that out and I'll be able to run wires through there, because he's going to have wires coming in there for the transducer on the back of the boat and anything else he puts in here. He's also going to have a cup holder and a graph in here. Same thing on this side, he's going to have a cup holder, and these are basically just spots for him to lay rods. Once we get those 2 pieces done, then we're into the back end right here, which is big. I want to be done with this thing. I'm trying to finish this tonight. So I got to cut a hole in here for the handle, clean these hatches up. This one's cut and dry. Inside of here, I showed you guys earlier, that's all finished up, ready to rock and roll. This one, I got to build some little pieces on the sides over here to blank this off. And honestly, I might just run a whole angle across here, since we're going to go with this full-size hatch, because I did put his gas tank in and out of there. You can get a 3-gallon gas tank in there. Easy enough. I'm going to put a little floor inside of there before I make this permanent. But I just wanted to show you guys where we're at, because we've had a lot of hyperlapse videos going on. But unfortunately, we're going to put you guys back on the hyperlapse, and we're going to wrap everything up to the back of the boat. Now, I was hoping to get this boat painted in this episode. That's not going to happen, but we are going to finish up all of the metalwork in here. All right, guys, let's get back to work. That's all of them? Good job. Alright guys, so check it out. I went ahead and cut this hole into this little side panel back here. Now the one on that side, it's actually perfectly level with the back bench that was in the boat. This one is the one we had issues with. You can tell that it's low, so I'm gonna have to add, some type of a spacer or something on top of here, because I'm trying to finish out this hatch back here. I did go ahead and put a floor in here, and I cut this side out basically just so you can get down in there and put the plug in the boat. Now I'm going to put the bilge pump on this side over here. We got a lot of foam here. I got to dig this out, but look at this, man. This stuff is wet. Look how wet this is. Yeah. This was wrapped up inside of there, man. It's been in here for at least a month or two now. So this thing's holding a lot of water. I'm going to try to dig as much foam out of here as possible, but like I said, I'm going to put the bilge on this side. I'm going to run it up, and I'm probably going to put a hole here for that. This is basically just going to have an access plate over it. The whole reason for that is because this bilge hose is going to run through here, and then I got to get up inside of here where I can attach the fitting on the outside of the hull where his bilge is going to pump out from. Not only that, but I need this area inside of here because his transducer is going to go on the back of the boat and run up here. and then it's going to come inside of here and run through that same hole. And we got to be able to drill a hole all the way up through this side to get up into the front of the boat, because he's going to have a graph up on the side and the front. I'm not exactly sure, but we got to be able to put a transducer on the back of the boat, and it's going to give him an access where he can run wires back here. I'm going to go ahead and clean up this foam and get this in the trash can, vacuum this out, and I'm going to try to figure out how I'm going to do this floor in here. I might just blank this off. I don't know. I mean, he's going to have a bilge here. There's not much room here. I am going to put like a little floor piece over there. I already put the foam in there, so he'll have a little bit of storage on that side over there for some stuff. But I think this side is basically just going to be access for the bilge. So I'm going to try to figure something out to where anything he puts in here doesn't roll over. But I mean, this area is basically just for the gas tank, and that little storage area could be for maybe a fire extinguisher or rain gear. I don't know, whatever he wants to put in there. But I need to finish this back area up right here. It's one of the last things that I have to do. So I'm gonna put you guys back on the hyperlapse. We'll get this figured out, and then we'll circle back. Let's get back to work. All right, guys, so check it out, man. This boat is looking sick. I mean, it's 14 foot, 36 wide, kind of tiny, but this looks dope, man. The way we're gonna do this back now, I still gotta add a little piece right here. I'm thinking I'm just gonna sheet this over the top, leave from the gussets on either side open, and sheet on the other side. But you can get a feel for how it looks now. He's gonna have a gas tank sitting in here. I am gonna put a little sheet over this, and on that side, I'll put the sheet and a little piece to finish that off. I gotta put the bilge pump in there first, but I'm gonna get this boat painted before I do anything else with that. Now I did go ahead and weld this angle up in the back of this side right here, and that's basically just so I can figure out exactly where this hatch is gonna sit and make these pieces back to the transom. This hatch, obviously, I still gotta cut a hole in here for a handle, but this one's done too. Storage in here. This side panel we installed permanently. Now I am going to come back and I'm going to put a piece of 1/8 inch sheet from here to finish this out to the back of the transom, just so there's no differential in the height once we install the turf in here. Talked to the customer today about the turf, and I've got turf on the way for this one, so it's going to be sick, man. I'm going to paint it on my dime, so I'm hoping I get to pick the color for it. I don't know. I'm going to drop this video tomorrow. Haven't really talked to him about any of that stuff, so we'll find out. But man, this thing looks dope. I got a sheet to put here and here, just a flat piece, 1/8 inch, and then same thing here. We're gonna put one piece here and one piece there. And the whole reasoning for that is basically to bring this up flush and to bring this up flush. That way, once everything is turfed, I mean, this is gonna be the first build in a while that I've done like this, to where the entire top deck is completely level. I mean, it's crazy. But look, this whole front deck right here, that was level to begin with. We dropped that down an 1/8 of an inch. I'm gonna put a couple little pieces, like 3/4 wide strips on either side of this and across the face. I'm gonna put that underneath the turf. It's gonna be a cool project. It's really gonna be different because I haven't done one like this where I can install the foot pedal underneath the turf in a minute, but it's gonna be sick. And the way it's laid out, everything is completely flush. I mean, it's within a 32nd of an inch from bow to stern. Insane. It's a hell of a build. 1436. I'm pumped. I'm gonna wrap this thing up. I'm dropping this video to you guys tomorrow, and it's gonna be dope. And then we're gonna get this turf and stuff. I'm gonna paint this boat in the next couple of days. Put the turf in here, and the customer's coming over to pay me for the metal work. He's gonna drop off all the electronics he has, and then we're gonna hook all this up and get this thing wrapped up next week. And then you should see this boat back on the channel. All right, guys, so 1436 Polarkraft. Now, the rig turned out super dope. The layout is killer. I mean, this is more than you could ever ask for in a 14-foot John boat. And to be completely honest with you, the Yin 10 that I did, that was a 1436, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence between that one and this one. This is a pretty dope build. I mean, the Polarkraft, in my opinion, is a lot better quality hull than the low that we built the Yin 10 out of, and I kind of like this layout a little bit better. Not trying to be judgmental. This one does have a live well in it though, so I think that's pretty cool. I mean, regardless, for me, it's too tiny. It's too unstable. It's just not my normal type of boat. I don't want to have a boat like that. I can't fish out of something like this. It's just me. I'm 6'6", 220 pounds, so I can't fish out of a 1436. That's just me. I've done it before, and it's not fun to me. At least got to have a 1448. I'm more of a bigger boat type of guy, but regardless, guys, this boat's going to be sick. We've got everything figured out. I still have to put a couple pieces in here on the back and up in the front. It's literally like 4 pieces of 1/8 inch, just sheeting, just to level everything out so we can get ready to install the turf in here. Now, I did order the turf today. The turf's pretty cool. It's literally the same turf that we put in the... Yeah, I'm not going to tell you guys until the next episode. That's got to be one of the things I keep a secret, but it's going to be dope. And I'm going to paint this boat. I'm going to go and get some paint for it probably tomorrow or the next day, and I'm going to get this thing painted before the turf gets here. That way I'm ready to install all this stuff. Customers coming to drop off the rest of the electronics and everything he's got. And the next stage of the game is to get this thing painted. We got to paint the whole boat. It's going to be a pain in the butt because it has some decals up on the sides over here, and it's got some stickers on the back. Like, guys, do not put stickers like this on your boat, period, unless you are 100% sure that you're not going to bring it to me, because I don't want to scrape those off. I don't want to deal with them. They're a pain in the ass. It makes my job a whole lot harder, but it is what it is. We're going to clean those up. We're going to paint this rig. We're going to make this one of the baddest 1436 that you guys have ever seen. I do appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. Hit that like, subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think about this rig. I know a lot of guys are building these boats because they seem like they're the most common size John boat out there, period. I'll see you guys in the next one. Let's get back to work.